So I'll just tell you a story about our company and then why we decided to do a token offering. I had launched a tech company called Circus. We hired Steve to help us with concert venues. Steve managed a band called Stone Temple Pilots, among many other bands. My background is in quantitative trading and finance, and I decided to do something besides moving decimals for really rich people, do something in tech. I quickly realized as we were having a conversation that the music industry seemed to be broken, but not where everybody thinks it's broken. Not on the distribution, but on the financing, on the front end. And what could we do to dramatically change that? So we went through the regular course of raising money. We raised some money from Binary Capital, did Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Grubhub, among other companies. We raised about $250,000 from them, another chunk of money from other venture firms. And we were building this app out. We were in the process of figuring out a way to help artists monetize their music without having to give such a large percentage, by doing that from friends, families, and investors. So in the process of structuring that, we were looking at where royalty collection and infrastructure for music was going, and we started looking at blockchain. We knew that it wasn't 100% practical today, but in the future, we wanted to play to where that puck was going to go. So, Steve.
So basically, what we try to tap into is something that really hasn't been tapped into before. The IP behind the actual creation of music. And there's been plenty of companies that do distribution. You've got streaming, you've got downloads, you've got CDs, radios, everything that's out there on the back end. But no one had really looked at the problem that most artists have, which is, how do I get the resources to create? How do I actually get enough money to make a living creating music and putting music out there? So what we focused on was building a platform that allows people to trade the IP in little slices. So you've got music publishers who handle huge catalogs of work. So Sony ATV, Universal, BMG, they will buy hundreds of thousands of songs. And then they will supposedly exploit those songs at some point. And we all know that maybe they take care of the top 1 or 2% of those songwriters, those big hits. The other 98% of the catalog gets no love at all. And what we're looking at is the co-writer, the producer, and the artist in many respects that doesn't have a way to monetize that because they're stuck in this big contractual record deal or a big contractual publishing deal for many, many years, and they have no other way to connect with their fans. They've been disintermediated from their fan base by these large banks that control what comes out and controls their output and ties them up for many, many years. So our platform lets them go directly to their fan base and say, look, I want to put 10% of my song up, I want to raise $10,000. And the fans can come in and buy it as if they were buying Bitcoin. They don't have to buy one share or $1,000 worth of anything. They can buy a fraction of those songs piece by piece through a mobile app. So we're basically allowing fans to buy pieces of their favorite songs and artists to put up pieces of their IP for sale in the marketplace that they want at the price they want it to be.
So one of the interesting things that happened to us is that we were building this already. We were using blockchain to build the middleware. So we were going to collect from pre-existing sources, but we were looking at where the future of music was going, and that's where we wanted to be. We view this as a way for the social media component to participate in the music. If you're Kanye West and you have 1 million fans on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and he launches a slice of a song through our app, and we push that out, and say the conversion rate is between 5 and 10%, and that individual will give you between $1 to $100, you've just monetized your tour, your next album, and kept a lot of that IP for yourself, which allows what? More of the music that fans want, not more of the music that the label or the bank wants, so to speak. So we give the artist the freedom to do what's important to them, and that's make music that the fans like.
And it also opens up institutionals, right? What happened in the late 80s with finance, where you had E-Trade and Charles Schwab, and you had actual retail consumers being able to buy one share of Microsoft, right? Prior to that, you'd be accredited, had to have a brokerage account with $250,000 in it, you could only buy blocks of stock in tens or hundreds of shares at a time. This will allow average consumers to buy into music IP in a way that's never before been possible. We're also looking at expanding beyond music and going into books, film, video content, anything with a royalty stream attached to it, because we believe IP is the bottom and the actual strongest financial anchor of a lot of the technology that you're seeing, a lot of the content that you're seeing everywhere.
So the way that we structured our deal was, we did a SAFT and a PPM. We're very cautious about the way that we raise money in the United States. Our public sale is obviously overseas. Just with the technology aspect, we look at the responsibility of regulation and how we approach that as a company very seriously. So we aim to be ahead of the curve in the way that we were structuring our own capital raise. But what we find really exciting is the type of momentum we've gotten from the artists and the fans. This is something that everyone's been looking to happen. The internet made a promise to artists, musicians, and to the people involved in that art that there would be a certain freedom, but that's not what happened. The deals are more egregious and more difficult on the IP creator. So if you look at your phones, if you look at any technology, it's created by that company. Music is the only place where the IP is created away from the main body of the company, where a group of talented artists create something of value, and this entity here owns it. We feel like the smart contract, the ability to have a decentralized platform plays into the need to own that IP and control it directly from the IP creators.
The existing collection mechanisms, which are called PROs, performing rights organizations around the world. We have 4 here in the US, most countries have 1, about 137 different countries around the world, but that is a broken system.